I call Chris Hockenbowl.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I rise to speak on the cognate bills, the Electronic Identity Verification Bill and the Identity Information Confirmation Bill, both of which are big steps, Mr. Speaker, forward in identity information management, making life easier for the consumers and for businesses. It's always a pleasure, Mr. Speaker, to follow the Honourable Trevor Mallard in a debate and to try to work out how on earth something that was such a matter of agreement between the people at the Select Committee suddenly becomes a huge partisan issue. Although I think he did say that partisanship was subordinated to common sense. This was an exercise in common sense, in consideration of what was sensible, and the Electronic Identification Verification Bill will regulate and enhance the operation of the iGovernment Identity Verification Service, including making it available to private sector agencies as well. Mr. Speaker, I would like to acknowledge the initial efforts of the Chair of the Government Administration Select Committee and the subsequent efforts of the committee in her absence. We worked very well together, and I think everybody brought something to this bill. Indeed, I'd reflect Mr. Mallard's comment about Gareth Hughes certainly contributing with safeguards and concerns over verification processes. He was assiduous in follow-up work, and we were all able to contribute. We all enjoyed it. And when it came to penalties, I think it was Eric Roy, Deputy Speaker, who suggested that we should really lift the game rather than leave it where it was, where people didn't suffer too much as a consequence of stealing information. And as the Honourable Trevor Mallard said, each of us had something to bring to the table. And in my particular case, I well remember being part of a verification group, a bank verification group, and they sold their files to a commercial company in America, who then contacted us about buying shares and that sort of thing. It showed complete disregard for the privacy of identification. But this bill shows that this government understands it's time to expand the service to allow for a greater range of uses, Mr. Speaker, so that the people, government and businesses can realise the benefit that internet technologies offer. Department of Internal Affairs is partnering with New Zealand Post to commercialise the service and to make it more widely available. And we were, I think I speak for all the members of the committee, particularly impressed by the work of the officials on this bill, in that they would listen to our concerns, they would go away and they'd come back with a complete description of how our concerns could be met. The Identity Information Confirmation Bill creates a new service which enables approved agencies to check whether identity information, names, dates of birth, and that sort of thing presented to them by customers is consistent with the records held by the Department of Internal Affairs. And again, I was able to instance the fact that I'd had my identity, my bank card stolen. The only thing... Well, exactly. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. Who on earth would want it? And when I was interviewed by the police, I said to them, why would they want these cards? I've already cancelled them. Mind you, that was an experience in itself. Phoning the bank to say, I wish to cancel my cards, they've been stolen, to only have the bank say, what were the numbers? I don't know what the numbers are. I'm standing in my gym gear. My trousers have been stolen, my wallet with it. Mind you, my tailor later, when I put in an insurance claim, said, were you in the trousers at the time? I wasn't. They were nicked out of the gym. But too much information indeed. But the interesting thing was, they used the cards in South Auckland to open accounts at department stores using the cards as their identification. And that was accepted. The only thing which prevented me being charged and prosecuted for the bills was the fact that they were a different age to my age. This new system that we're putting in will provide a safeguard against that. It will also help ensure compliance with the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering Financing of Terrorism Act 2009, which requires banks and other financial institutions to undertake more comprehensive Know Your Customer checks. In an earlier age, of course, we all did know our own customers and that sort of thing, but we live in different times now. The data validation service will be available only to organisations which meet strict security, privacy and integrity criteria. We have heard, Mr. Speaker, we have heard on this side of the House endless criticism of breaches in security. For goodness sake, it's the exception that proves the rule. Things will occasionally go wrong. It's not the end of the world when there are breaches. But what it does normally do is ensure that safeguards are put in place. These bills will enable New Zealanders to transact more easily online and will give businesses and governments, agencies, confidence against identity fraud. They'll give individuals confidence against identity fraud. The identity services will be able to be used by all New Zealanders for a wide range of transactions offered by government and private sector agencies. The culmination, Mr. Speaker, of all this will be that New Zealanders will be able to prove their identity quickly and securely when dealing with government agencies and businesses. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker. Chris Hipkins. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very, very pleased to take